Welcome back, everybody. I hope you're all excellent. The Preamp Odyssey continues again. A massive shout out to Brian for sending me over this art power plant, complete with the awesome graphics. I finally feel like I have a preamp that matches my jumper at the moment. But 2-channel, solid state preamp, clean channel, an overdrive channel. It features Harmonic Superdrive. Kind of sounds like a beer or something like that would be advertised in Australia. But let's hear this thing. You can probably see that I have this connected to the effects loop of my Boogie Mark IV. I'm using a cab with vintage 30s in the next room. And at the moment I have the graphic EQ on the Boogie bypass. I also have a tube screamer connected, but it's bypassed at the moment. So you can probably see where this video is going to end up. But to get started, let's hear some clean sounds. I have to have the input gain all the way up, otherwise the signal's just too weak. It's really, really clean. We've got a low control, a mid voicing control, and a high control. They're all set at noon. Another thing that is ridiculously early 90s that I just love about this preamp is the knobs don't go to 10. They don't even go to 11 or 12. They go all the way up to 13. So you can turn your Harmonic Superdrive up to 13. But for now, let's just hear this on the, I'm going to use the bridge and middle combination on my Strat for something different today, of the clean channel, all the EQ set at noon. All right, that's what's going on there. If we crank the mid voicing up, we get this. It's kind of got a little bit of a tubby Fender thing going on there. How dark can I make this sound? So it's really clean and there's a bit of EQ going on there. I'm going to use the magic of post-production to add a bunch of post effects on this and see if it can do the really wet 80s clean. So what was a pretty uninspiring and a little bit insipid of a clean tone, you layer it with effects and it's actually kind of awesome. It does that 80s schmo thing really, really well. There's not a whole lot of dynamics in there, but that's kind of the point with that sound. It almost sounds like there's some kind of compression circuit in there. Just kind of a little bit boxy and I don't know, it's not really reacting with the tube screamer the way you would want something to react with the tube screamer, but it was worth a try. So on the clean channel, you're going to smother it in effects. I think it works really, really well. Otherwise, let's get some Harmonic Superdrive in our lives. I'm actually going to start with the Harmonic Superdrive all the way off. There's the standard input drive, which is at noon. All the EQ is at noon. That's kind of got a cool grindy thing going on there. So maxing Harmonic Superdrive seems to be the trick there. That is with the high control all the way up to 13, and it's still really quite smooth sounding. I'll do the same post-production trick and add a bunch of delay. Again, adding all the time-based effects in post kind of makes the difference with this. It is a lot more inspiring to play, even though it's super duper fat and smooth. I did not mind that sound, and it's almost as though people were layering all their guitar effects with loads of like outboard rack gear at the time this preamp came out, and it was designed to be used like that. All right, you can also hear that the mid-voicing can get really extreme, so let's do this. Let's turn it all the way down, and we get this. I love as well that the low control is called thrust. Listen to how much extra thrust I get with this. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to add the tube screamer with the volume all the way up and the gain on 0 and the tone cranked. Next, this is where the choice of using the boogie as the power amp comes in, because I can kick in the boogie graphic EQ, and this is where stuff gets really fun. So if you want to do that industrial sledgehammer sort of sound, it can kind of do it. And I imagine this particular setup, you know, some kind of boost, then a preamp, then some kind of either graphic EQ or parametric EQ in a rack was really common around the time this thing came out. In a similar way, just loading it with time-based effects after the preamp really kind of gets you that sound. I think they're the two best sounds in this power plant preamp. Everything else is a little bit just not there. Like, it's just kind of a really insipid take on either a Fender clean or a Marshall clean without a whole bunch of, you know, the things that we like about those great guitar sounds, where you play them and you go, wow, this is like rich, and I want to say a bunch of, you know, meaningless platitudes about the tone, but they're not meaningless because I can hear something in there that something like this doesn't really have. But if you just want to absolutely crush skulls and you have an outboard graphic EQ and a boost, or you know, you want a really cool looking preamp so that you can get that 80s clean tone, then you know, maybe it's worth checking out the power plant. But it was a whole lot of fun, and it does just look so cool. So I think I'm sort of sensing this trend. A lot of these solid state preamps can do that, just absolutely crushing like thrash or industrial tone really, really well, probably better than the tube preamps of the time. And they can do the crystalline cleans as well, but maybe not the in-between stuff where guitar players really like to live. Anyway, that's what I think about it. Anyway, again, a huge thank you to Brian for sending this out to me. You're an absolute legend. He sent me so much gear that's been featured on the channel. It is awesome. Let me know what you all thought of the Art Power Plant in the comments below. Did you ever play one of these back in the day? Did you ever rack with something by Art in it? Because I can imagine just putting this in a rack, never turning it on, but having it there because it looks so cool. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.